If you've ever felt like you stand alone and you struggle to find God in your isolation, well, you're in the right place. When things are bad, we often feel like God isn't there anymore. And this is when hope seems to be all lost. Hi, I'm Reverend Kevin. Welcome to Wisdom Fragments. This is where we try to find fragments of wisdom and to help us on our spiritual path. And we can find that the prophet Elijah and even Avengers Endgame can give us some of these fragments. You see, wisdom shows us when we are isolated that help can come in the most unexpected way. Now let's think about it. Have you ever been in a situation where everything just seemed completely bleak? What about the odds against you are so high that it seems like you are never going to catch a break? This is how many of us feel when we have our own spiritual battles. And it feels like we have to take these challenges ahead and without any help at all. And so, is it any wonder we feel isolated? But we have more support than we think. And so just like Captain America, who stood alone against Thanos in Avengers Endgame, our support is greater than we can ever know. Now, this is not just a Trust God video. If it were that simple, there would be no doubt at all. See, the problem is that most of the time, we have no idea what is going on behind the scenes. Most of the time, it looks like no help is ever coming. And you should be wary of anyone who is trying to tell you to ignore this feeling because it's real. God does not want you to ignore your doubt. But when everything is falling apart, when our faith in the divine is tested, that's when it happens. And this is when the weird stuff happens. It's when our faith is strengthened. That's when miracles happen. That's when help comes. And it even comes when we don't see it at all. And now let's go back to Captain America, because it came for him, just like it came for the prophet Elijah. So help can come in the most unexpected ways. Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, they fought Thanos, and Thanos won. Thanos won multiple times in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But here is the amazing thing and why we need to look at these stories. Captain America gets back up. And why? It's because of who he is. He has no idea if anybody is ever going to come and help. He doesn't care. He gets back up because it's what he does. It's who he is. And here's what happens next.
Hey, Captain Remy. Captain Sam, can you hear me? On your left.
At that moment, just like when Elijah was sustained by ravens, a famine for a famine, Captain America hears this in his ear, on your left. And that's when the portals open. That's when help comes. Help comes when we don't expect it. And it happens when we least expect it too. Captain America was defeated. He lost. And he finally was worthy of Thor's hammer. Thanos had disarmed him. and he gets back up. And by getting back up, this is what happens. He doesn't stand alone. We might think he's alone, but he is not. This act causes the entire universe to stand with him. One man stood alone, and then the universe chose to stand with him. And then we have one of the greatest scenes in the entire MCU. Every Marvel hero comes through the portals. Every single one. Even people we don't expect, they're all there. And the hammer returns to Captain America, and the divine aid comes at the last minute, right when it is most needed and least expected. And so we can all gather that this is a metaphor. It's a reminder that there is something greater than ourselves. And it's trying to help us. You see, trust is really hard. And to be honest, I think too many preachers say all you have to do is trust and things will come. And the truth is, I feel it will happen regardless of trust. Jesus stills the storm, and none of them trusted. Everybody forgets this. He even tells them they should have had faith. And so we have the unexpected echoes of this with the prophet Elijah. And we'll get into that in a little bit. And so with Captain America, he stood alone against Thanos. Everyone was against him. Everything was against him. And he didn't know this at first, but the entire universe was ready to come and preparing to join him. And so this is a reminder that just as Captain America wasn't alone, neither are we. We are always surrounded by the divine and the divine support that Jesus is going to come and help us. And the portals might not open when we want, but they will open. And help will come through. And so this imagery is for us when we feel like we are alone and no one is coming. But the thing is that even one person standing against all odds is enough for the entire universe to notice. And similarly, Elijah, he stands alone in the wilderness. But he also wasn't alone. God was working behind the scenes to help him out. And so here's what the Bible says, and it has a lot of stories like this, of unexpected help coming from God. And so Elijah is one of these stories. There's a severe drought and famine, but Elijah is sustained by ravens. And this is important because ravens are unclean animals, and they brought him food. And the miracle comes when he least expects it. And just like Elijah, our help comes when we don't expect it. Even in the worst possible circumstances, we have people looking out for each and every one of us. And these stories remind us that God is trying to help us, even if sometimes it's through people and it's not through something that we call divine intervention. And just like Captain America, the ravens helped Elijah overcome insurmountable